This morning, I decided to get up and go for a walk. It was beautiful out. You can see here the trees, everything's blooming for spring. It started my day off in a beautiful place. And when I came home, I was more calm and peaceful with my kids. I was able to make breakfast for them and make myself a hot cup of tea and get the baby her breakfast. It just really started the day out right. I'm finding the need more and more for routines as we are locked down at home. It really helps set the tone for our entire day.
Alright, so I had previously done a video where I showed how I do my hair naturally when I'm just kind of getting out of the shower and I scrunch it to style it. Today is one of those days where it is not, now this side I know it looks good, or at least I think it does, it was not naturally cooperating. I was waking up and it was like this part right here, just really flat, and I've got the rest of the flat part tucked back. And what I've done so far is I've curled half of my head, and I'm gonna show you guys how I do the other half and just kind of talk to you a little bit about what's been on my heart and mind while I do it. So if you are curious or want to do anything similar with your hair, I'm just using a really tiny curling iron. This is, I don't even know what size it would be. Looks maybe like the 1/2 inch or something. I mean, it's just for it's the tiniest size, okay? Since my hair's short, any big barrel type curls, they fall out really easily. So I'm just gonna show you kind of how I do that. And I wanna talk a little bit about why I'm doing this. So since being in quarantine, this is like week 3 where we've been out of school, the kids have been home, we are finding a new normal. And for me, I feel like at the beginning of it all, when everything that you're used to is stripped away, I felt kind of lost. I didn't know like what to do, how to make sense of this new normal. And so one of the things I found most comforting, most helpful for me and my 3 children was to maintain a strong sense of routine in our new lives, kind of. And so one of the things I've been trying to do, I would say probably the first week and maybe week and a half, I spent a lot of my days in my PJs. I can't even tell you how many times I showered. It was all kind of a blur. But I know that there was also probably a lot more chaos for my kids during that time. Whereas now, if I treat these days where I'm staying at home almost like a work day, where I'm getting up and I'm preparing myself to be ready for my children, it helps me function better, it helps our household function better, so I get ready. And it doesn't always work. I will say this morning I wanted to take time to go on a walk, and I did, and it was so beautiful out. Just to have that quiet alone time with kids, that can be really hard to find time during the day. And so I've been convicted, I think I'll start curling while I talk. I've been convicted, so you just take your hair and I don't even use the little clip thing, I just wrap it around with my fingers, and I'm just gonna, if some of it falls kind of out, that's fine. I'm just gonna hold it there while I curl. Convicted that if I want time alone, especially time with God, and I want to use this time to grow in my faith, that I'm gonna have to carve out that time. And up till now, I don't know, I was just tired and worn out from working all the time, and so a lot of the days I was sleeping in. And see, I have this fun curl. And we'll comb through these later. Right now I just kind of gotta let it go and let it cool down. You don't want to mess with curls too much once they've come off of the hot part. You just need to let them be. Let them set for a minute, and then later we'll fluff them up to this size. And so this morning, and this just shows how the best intentions don't always work out either. I was gonna plan to get up at like 5 a.m. and take this glorious long walk, but instead I woke up at like 6:43. I had turned off my alarm and I was exhausted, And I asked my husband real quick, because he is working from home now as well, and I said, hey, are you okay if I run out and just do a quick walk? And so he said absolutely, and he kind of said he would take over if the kids woke up. Luckily they were still sleeping. So I'm also pulling down this kind of section of hair, and I'm starting from the back of my head, and I'm gonna be curling from the back. And he said, yeah, go for it, go for your walk. And so I did, and I made it maybe 30 minutes in, and I was probably starting to feel tired. It shows kind of how out of shape I am. And the reason I so much wanted to go on a walk is twofold. I've been reading in a book about simplifying our lives. I quoted it in another video. It's called Less is More. And in that book, she mentioned last night when I was reading from it that it is very important for us to do the hard things first, the things we least want to do. That if we continuously take the path of least resistance in our lives, we're going to end up in a place where we don't want to be. And I can relate to that with my health journey. 3 kids in, I've definitely put on some weight, and I want to be healthier, and I want to feel strong in my body. I want to take time for me and self-care. And so I resolved, I've said I'm going to get up for a walk today, and I did. Just not at the time I had originally planned. And while I was out, I was convicted of how much I had missed doing that, taking care of myself. This is a little bit of a thick piece. I think I'm gonna split it into 2. And how much more, if I would start my days like that I would be there for my children. And so I also was convicted that I wanted to use the walks as a time to pray and intercede, because I realized I haven't been doing that nearly enough. So I've talked before about how I host a women's Bible study, and last night we all met digitally via an app called Zoom, and it was wonderful hearing from the women, and it was just so good to connect with other people, even though we can't be face-to-face right now. And as we shared like prayer requests and what's going on in each other's lives, one of our good friends is in healthcare, and she is on the front lines right now, along with many other people's family members. And I realized, because I'm home, I'm not like front and center, I'm not seeing all of the struggle. We hear about it in the news, but I don't know, just it made the pain of it and the fear, maybe not fear, but the pain a little more real. And so I was just convicted on my walk this morning how much I have not been interceding. Like, over and over again, I've been saying, God, what do you want me to do? You know, we're stuck at home. And the one thing we can do, guys, is we can intercede. We can get on our knees and pray, or we can go on a walk and pray, as I did this morning. And I just realized, like, why? So I'm gonna take some of these that I've just done, and I'm gonna flip them over just to get them out of the way and give them a little volume, if they'll stay. Why have I not been doing more of it? You know, why, when I do have time in moments here and there to pray, why have I not been praying like I should? And so I realized that I need to commit to doing this more, and I need to take that part seriously. So that's just where my heart is at. And part of that, going back to routines, is going to be part of my morning routine. As much as I'm going to try and like care about getting ready, I'm also going to try and take care of myself physically through walks and mentally through prayer, and lift up all those around me that I know that are dealing firsthand with this crisis that's going on. And it just, I feel like it brings us a little bit closer. trying to see. I feel like there's a spare string there. There it is. To God's heart, because close enough. If you have some extra little straggly things, they'll get kind of lost in the mix that you brush in. Okay, I've got just a few more strands here around my face, and then I'll spray it with some hairspray. Actually, I could do a quick spray right now. Kind of hold those in for a little bit, and then I'll fluff up the rest. So I came back home, and I decided to just really work on our routines today. I made our kids breakfast. I made us oatmeal with toast, and I started prepping for a healthy lunch for everybody. I made like roasted veggies and chicken nuggets. I don't know if they were the healthiest, but it's what we have. So, and I made sure to like prioritize my kids' schooling this morning. So I had my son working on his math and reading, and my daughter working on her ABCs, and then the baby just kind of stays and plays with me while they do that. And then I came upstairs to just really focus on getting ready and get my head and my heart in a good place. So, and then what I'm doing now is I'm doing the other half of my head during nap time, because I started to curl my hair this morning, but the reality with kids is you just don't always have time. And so I want to take care of myself, but I want to do it in the moments that I have. So right now my baby's napping, my daughter's napping, and my son, because he's older, he does quiet times where he can like sit down in our living room. We let him take pillows down there and a blanket, and he can read books, or he can just kind of have like a quiet time to himself. But he has to do it quietly while the other kids are sleeping. And it works out really well, because then I also have a little bit of a space during the day where I have some extra time if I need to get a few chores done, or finish my hair, or if I want to read my Bible a little bit more. So this is kind of our day routine now, and I'm just finding the importance of routines, guys. Like last night, I was exhausted. I just wanted to collapse in the bed after being with the kids all day, and I'm sure many parents feel the same way right now. But I said, no, I'm gonna stick to this routine. I had started like a skincare routine in the evenings where I'm like dry brushing my skin to stimulate lymph nodes. And okay, so now I'm just gonna kind of run my fingers through the curls. You can see I'm just kind of, even on both sides, roughing them up a little bit. I just love the way it turns out with that skinny iron. Okay, just kind of put that back there. So really cute. And you could even rough it up more, but like as I go throughout my day, it's gonna kind of fall down a bit. And I really like this because it'll be there the next day as well. So just routines. And last night I said, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna do the routine. And so I brushed my skin, I cleansed my face, I put on like a nightly moisturizer that I have. I went down and got our diffuser, and I set it up in my bedroom, and I diffused lavender and purification, which helps me like breathe at night, peppermint. And then I turned on our humidifier, and then I chatted with my husband for a few minutes, and we were able to then just fall asleep. So for me, having a night routine, having a morning routine is going to be very pivotal to help the days not blend together, and I think also to help me find a space to worship God, because on my walk this morning, that's how I was able to worship him, is I was able to get out by myself in the early morning air and just hear the birds and the trees, guys. It was so beautiful. And I just needed those moments, those minutes away to focus my day. And our pastor this last weekend, he said that, I think it was some study from something he cited, I'd have to look it up, but he said the first 20 minutes of your day are so pivotal because it directs the way the rest of your day is gonna go, because it's when, like, I think he said the beta waves in the brain are most awake, and they're going to impact the rest of the day. So anyways, if you have tuned in, I really appreciate you listening, and I just hope to post more reflections as we have this time to have quiet and routines and time to focus on God and time to pray for one another. That should probably be my biggest takeaway from the walk this morning, is I want to pray more for everybody in my life, for my neighbors, for my family, for those in healthcare right now, everyone. Thanks for watching.